Implementation overview for the Year 3/4 Times Table Fluency Targeted Intervention. How we set up the evaluation in your school. The first thing we ask you to do is identify 2 similar ability classes, so this does require a 2-form entry. Use the What Worked Teachers platform to randomly allocate one class to the intervention, one to the control. The pre-assessment task is completed with both groups. The intervention group uses the number fluency times table intervention for the duration of the 5 weeks. The control class will continue as normal. And then you complete the post-assessment task, which is the same as the pre. And then if the intervention shows promise, you will then open this up to the control class. So let's look at this from a step-by-step delivery approach in your school. So planning. Step 1, identify 2 similar ability classes to participate in the evaluation from the same year group. Step 2, read the intervention schedule and print off the resource packs for the times tables that you will be teaching in the next 5 weeks. These are included in the resource folder. Step 3, using the trial wizard on the What Worked Teachers platform, randomly assign classes to the intervention and the control group. So the implementation. Step 4, complete the pre-assessment maths test with both the intervention and control groups. Record the marks in the Excel tracker located in the resource folder and input these into the pre-test on the trial wizard. As you're using class level data, it's probably best to have another member of staff, a teaching assistant or teacher, to read out the scores to help you to input this into the platform a bit quicker. Step 5, for the intervention group of students, follow the delivery schedule for the times table fluency lessons. The control group will continue with business as usual for the duration of the trial. Step 6, complete the post-assessment maths test, same as the pre, to both the intervention group and control group. Record the marks on the tracker and then input these into the trial wizard. Then complete the process evaluation and then press Analyze on the platform, and it will generate an impact report to let you know how the interventions worked in your school. The intervention. It's a targeted number fluency intervention which focuses on Year 3 or Year 4 pupils. It's delivered by a teacher as a whole class activity, and each session should take approximately 15 minutes. How it works. The systematic approach to teaching timetables aims to develop children's fluency when recalling facts up to 12 times 12. It is designed with the 4 characteristics of effective fluency practice in mind: spacing, interleaving, testing, and overlearning. The times tables are learnt in the following order, which is the 10, 5, 2, 4, 8, 3, 6, 9, 7. Then you do your 11s and your 12s. Because this intervention is delivered potentially at different times of the year and in different schools, just focus on the tables that you're going to be teaching over the next 5 weeks for when you're evaluating this intervention. When learning the facts in each of the times table, key facts are broken down into manageable chunks and introduced using a phonics flashcard approach so children learn the sound pattern of each fact. Rehearsal of the facts happens little and often, and interleaving is used to ensure children consolidate previously learned facts. The systematic approach also ensures children develop understanding of the cumulative law and the relationship between multiplication and division facts. The approach can be used as a whole class activity, which is what we're using for this evaluation, and requires a low amount of resourcing. Each session should be no longer than 15 to 20 minutes. So the intervention involves using teaching flashcards, which is for the first 10 minutes. So children need to be able to count through the multiples in that half of the table first, before learning the sound pattern to each multiplication fact in order. So for example, 1 5 is 5, 2 5s are 10. Once children are confident, the teacher could then challenge children to recall the multiplication facts out of order. This should be repeated with the division facts so children are confident with the inverse of each multiplication fact. The teacher models writing the division calculation alongside the multiplication on the whiteboard. Again, this should be said using a sound pattern sentence. There is 1 5 and 5, there are 2 5s and 10. And you could create division flashcards, which could make this if you want to. So depending on the fluency, confidence of the group, the teacher may spend 1 or 2 sessions just using the flashcards to introduce the new sets of facts before using the booklets for independent practice. So the rehearsal booklets. Once children are familiar with the first set of facts, the booklet should be used at the end of each session so children can practice the facts they've learnt. If the teacher feels children need more rehearsal of the new facts, this practice may not start till a second or third session. So within each booklet, there are 22 tests. There are 40 questions in each test, and they're structured as follows. So test 1 to 4, first half of the new times table. Test 5 to 8, the second half of the new times table. Test 9 to 12, all of the new times table. And then tests 13 to 22, it's the new times table combined with previously learnt times tables. You will find in the resource folder a one-side summary of how Staindrop School implement this in practice. So this gives you an idea of the sessions 1 to 4 for week 1. This can be adapted slightly for how to fit into your own school. And then you will see that it goes on to sessions 5 to 8, and then weeks 3, 4, and 5. The resource folder. In this, you will see the PDFs for the flashcards for each of the times table and the rehearsal booklet. Please print off the planning sheet, which is the one-side summary, so you know which ones are required. And you'll also find an Excel tracking spreadsheet. So this allows you to link an anonymized learner ID on the platform to a student in the classes. So key considerations. Time. Is there a suitable time for the delivery in the school day? Schedule. Make sure you print off the schedule in advance of starting the intervention. Resources. Again, make sure these are printed off in advance. And rewards. Will students participate and receive a reward for their efforts to help with the motivation? So logistical barriers are common in any intervention delivered in schools, so it's just important to consider these prior to starting. So let's move on to the assessment guidance. To measure the impact of the intervention, you will need to create an assessment to use at the start and the end of the trial with both the groups. So this will be 20 times table questions with 6 seconds allowed per question. As schools will be learning different timetables during the school year, can you create an assessment using the timetables that you are teaching in the next 5-week block and include a few from previous learning? So this will allow you to create your pre-assessment task, and then you will just replicate this for your post. So the assessment. So as I've just explained, the pre-assessment, please use your bespoke one that you've made. This is 20 timed questions with 6 seconds per question. The resource folder includes a pupil answer template, and please record the score for each learner in your Excel tracker and also on the What Word Teachers platform. And at the end of the trial, for both the intervention and control group, for the post-assessment, just use the same assessment that you've used for the pre, and this allows us to measure progress and the effectiveness of the intervention. And again, please just record the score for each learner in the tracker and then input this onto the What Worked Teachers platform. So that's the end of the implementation guidance. The next thing to do is to download the research protocol and the resource folder before moving on to the trial wizard to start your trial.